This is Just a Few Questions. I'm Marc Sims. My guest is Marty Nemko, PhD. Dr. Nemko, how are you today?
Fine. PhD stands for piled higher and deeper.
Piled higher and deeper. I'm so tickled to talk to you. We can talk about a lot of things. But you're in the Bay Area, and people always hear about San Francisco crime and Oakland crime and all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about Chicago crime. If let's say this: if you were the new mayor, San Francisco just got a new mayor. They're trying to get rid of the mayor. Did they get rid of the mayor in Oakland? They've been trying to get rid of her. I forgot.
Yeah, I think they did.
Okay, there's some kind of recall or something I read. The point is that if you were the czar of the Bay Area or mayor of Chicago, let's talk about something being on the south side of Chicago all my life, living in the hood, if you will. How would you stop crime, neighborhood street crime, in a place like Bay Area, a place like Chicago?
I love that question. First thing I would do is I would stop this one size fits all. You got to go to college. You feel like shit, because there's a lot of kids who are just bad at academics, and they're told by their stupid counselors, "You don't go to college, you're going to be a failure." Bullshit. The one size does not fit all. A kid should be placed in where he or she is likely to succeed the most. Right now, we got way too many college graduates with degrees in sociology and women's studies and ethnic studies and psychology and all this bullshit. We need more skilled people as irrigation technicians, as home remodelers. Those people, if I had a son or a daughter who hated school, found it hard or boring or whatever, was running with the wrong crowd, I would do everything I could to get my kid out of college and into an internship, an apprenticeship with a kind, wise mentor, whether it's teaching them how to rebuild carburetors or install a modern-day green air conditioning or do wind install, whatever. But this college thing, I think, is causing a lot of kids to say, shit, I'm not going to make it in the real world. I better sell crack.
Now, here in Chicago, I don't know much about the new mayor. They voted out London Breed in San Francisco. I forgot the mayor of Oakland. But the point is that we have a progressive mayor here in Chicago, and he is front. I'm not criticizing people that love Mayor Brandon Johnson. I'm not criticizing Mayor Brandon Johnson people. I'm contextualizing him. And he is from the CTU, the Chicago Teachers Union. So they are in charge. But they're talking about giving teachers more money, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not hearing about really preparing for students who are not going to go get a bachelor's degree. They may not get an associate's degree. I haven't heard them about transforming public education for low-income students and who are some of them may become neighborhood criminals. I don't hear that talk. What do you think, Dr. Nemko?
I love that. Okay, so the teachers union they say they're for children. Bullshit. They are for protecting jobs. What kind of an organization would fight to make sure that they get people elected who will give their teachers lifetime tenure after 2 or 3 years when it's a burnout profession, and 5 years later or 10 years later, they may have been okay for the first 2 years, but then they are burned out and they're hurting children year in and year out. You're right. The teachers union is a core problem. I have just become excited. I don't like to talk about a problem without a solution. I just heard about a private school in Florida, I believe, or it's Georgia, I don't remember, that is using an artificial intelligence teachers who adapt the instruction to each child's individual needs, not only level, style of learning, cool videos, so much more effective than the average teacher, let alone a teacher who gets tenure. So it all comes down to the teacher. And the union will fight this hell like hell because they just want to protect jobs. They don't give a shit about student learning. And the use of artificial intelligence teachers would be good for not just at-risk kids from the hood, but for brilliant kids who are from upper class backgrounds who are sitting bored, stultified in today's classes where progressive or conservative, the teachers are focusing on the lowest level kids. Individualized instruction, AI guided, that will do more to improve all children than any other intervention I could possibly cite.
So you think the new mayor is like an heir to the Levy fortune or something? I forgot his name. It was something like Levy, the mayor of San Francisco. But I don't. Are they saying that? Hey, we have a new mayor here. We have a new mayor there.
Well,
We're going to change public education forever.
That cannot be changed as long as the union has all this power. They have all this money. They're allowed to use their money not to get to negotiate for their workers, but to elect who they want. The George Soros types. And that the soft on crime thing, that isn't going to help people in the community, in the hood. That soft on crime shit is just going to appeal to white liberals. Now that's truth. When I taught in the inner city, and I did in New York City and in Richmond, California, all low income kids, tough kids, they don't react well to nicey. They react well to boundaries. Tough love. Love, yes. Caring, yes. But this, oh, we'll let it go this time. I know you've got challenges at home. That's bullshit. That is, if it was my son or daughter, that is not going to help him. That's going to hurt him.
Yeah, I think I misspoke. The mayor of San Francisco married into the Levi fortune. I may have that wrong. See, I didn't do so well in school. I dropped out of high school. I love telling people 44 years ago. That's why I'm passionate about this subject. But here in Chicago, maybe in same or similar in the Bay Area, they have a new a hybrid elected school board. We have like more people on the school board. They're from the community, blah, 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 blah. But I don't hear them saying anything that's innovative in this AI world. I mean, what's going on out there?
That's what I'm trying to do. Look, politicians by definition are timid. They say the shit that's going to get voters. Look, your buddy Obama would say one thing to a white audience, and he'll sound white, and then he'll talk into Southside Chicago, and he's suddenly a bro from the hood, right? They're just bullshit artists. Anybody who would choose to spend their life pressing the flesh to get elected is never going to be bold. They're just going to say the right things. Now, Trump is the one weird exception. He'll either fail miserably, in part because everybody hates him, at least among the circles that we live in the Bay Area, or he'll succeed wildly like the guy who's the new president of Argentina, who cut spending and put money back in the taxpayers' pockets by 50%. I don't know. But most politicians, they just say what's going to get them a vote and what's going to get them money from the big fat cat donors. And that definitely includes the school board people.
Well, you would agree, Dr. Nemko, you've been around longer than I have, that the whole game is trying to keep the masses, the rabble, the lumpen proletariat, if you will, to keep them stupid, preoccupied. Just do your damn job. Don't ask questions. But I think that when I'm saying about the masses are not demanding better because they don't know any better. So who's going to lead the masses? Who's going to open up the mind of the masses and say, hey, this is the way we should go. Don't listen to these people who've been tricking you for 3 or 4 or 5 generations and your family all these generations.
I swear to you, Mark Sims, I don't think that the masses know they want individualized instruction. They want good teachers. It is the people in power who are afraid that if they buck the union, they're going to lose their job. That's the issue. It's not the poorest kids. I've been to so many homes in Richmond and New York City, and those parents, they may be drugged out, they may be in an apartment that is a fucking mess and smells, but they still want a good education for their kids. They don't want it's not the class size. It is it appropriately leveled? Is it too hard? Is it too easy? And is a teacher firm but nice? Everybody, I don't care how dumb they are, I don't care how multi-generational poor they are, they don't, it's not that they're ignorant. Every parent knows that. It is that the people in power are absolutely beholden to the union, and therefore they're afraid of losing their jobs. So they're going to say, okay, we'll give you a 6.9% raise in your salary, and yes, we'll keep tenure. The problem is not the people, it's the power.
I've been threatening to write a letter to the University of Chicago and some people there, I mean, the crime lab, being director of the crime lab. And the whole point is that my theory is that there are just a few people that destabilize a neighborhood causing crime, just a few. And we have a plethora, I guess a fancy word for you collegiate people. You have a plenty of these non-for-profits programs, after-school programs, but there are people who slip through the cracks Dr. Nemko, how come the elected officials don't say, hey, we're going to find these few people, usually young boys, young men, and a few old men, and they have slipped through the cracks, and we're going to either put them in jail, put them in a mental institution, or we're going to send them to some type of, not phony job training, get them a skill where they can get a decent job, and we're going to stop this neighborhood crime. Where's the commitment? Have you heard anything in America that say, we're going to stop this neighborhood crime in these neighborhoods? Well, have you heard something in America yet?
I've heard that a lot, but I think the problem, I will add some more nuance to this. Yet there are the fewer the worst. They are the gangbang leaders, they are the big drug pins, but there's a whole lot of people who are one notch below, who are still lazy, stupid, drug addicted, to use black language, they play the fool, all of that shit. That's not just a few. You could lock them up, and you know what? It's like the game of whack-a-mole. You lock up 100, there can be 100 to take their place. Oh, good, now I can be the big kingpin. Yeah. No, that's not the answer. The answer is, as I said, I think if kids had legitimate hope, that is, they weren't told you had to go to college to succeed, but you could have a decent life with being a skilled electrician or a skilled carpenter or a skilled or AI, even technician, even if you're not going to be smart enough to be a programmer. That's going to do more to reduce crime than putting anybody in jail, because you can't put everybody in jail. And there's a hell of a lot more than a few who are far from likely to succeed. And it ain't because of policing. You can't lock everybody up. That's not the answer.
I could talk to you for hours. You want to keep going on this, because I always think about you. Always in your book, I'm looking at one of your books right now, Careers for Dummies. And your books, you have 34 books, of course, and all your videos on YouTube. Look up Dr. Marty Nemko on YouTube. You talk about your father and how he didn't want to look back, and you can tell people why he didn't want to look back. But I'm one of those people who look back. I can't let it go to the crappy education I got 50-something years ago has like ruined me, and I never got over it. Talk about your father. Talk about people like me who just need to let it go and stop looking back and look forward.
Oh, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, looking back is so stupid. And people, and not just about high school dropouts from South Australia, so many middle-class white people go into therapy, and the therapists have them look back what your mother did to you, what your father did to you, what the teachers did to you, your shitty education, capitalism, all of this shit. You know what? Ultimately, that is disempowering. The most successful people, not just my father at all, but I've had over 6,000 career counseling clients. And one of the differentiating features between the really successful ones and the strugglers is that shit happens to everybody. But the successful ones say, okay, what the fuck can I learn from this? How can I take the next step forward? The losers blame their education, they blame their parents, they blame capitalism, they blame conservatives, they blame Trump, they blame everybody but themselves. They have very high there's been studies that show that low achievers have higher self-esteem than high achievers, because they've been brainwashed. It's very comforting thing. Oh, I'm worthy. I'm black and I'm proud, or I'm Italian and I'm proud. Garbage. Your worth comes from your accomplishment. And if you I read the biographies of both George Washington and Barbara Streisand, talk about an odd combination. They both suffered from paralyzingly low self-esteem. And that's what drove them. They realized, shit, I don't know this. I'm weak at that. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm worried about the people on the movie I'm making. They worry. They are not happy-go-lucky, high self-esteem. They don't have bumper sticker rhetoric. I'm black and I'm proud. No. They say, I have to I deserve no credit for what Malcolm did or what Barack did or any of that. I am only good to the extent that I produce. That's why looking back is useless. To hell with role models. It's saying, how can I be the best self I can be? Marty Nemko will never be relaxed. Marty Nemko was hyperactive when he was 5. Marty Nemko can't draw more than stick figures. Marty Nemko can't fix anything. But Marty Nemko can think. And Marty Nemko can speak. And Marty Nemko can write. And Marty Nemko can play the piano. So what I do is I say, and I'm never going to be good looking. I am bald. I am ugly. But I have strengths. I have weaknesses. I say, how can I build on my strengths? How can I skirt my weaknesses? And that is what is really going to build not only self-esteem, but is a ticket out of South Side Chicago if you want to get out of South Side Chicago.
Well, I don't plan on getting out of it. You can get out of it mentally, but I love it. I love it here. But let me end this podcast with the word identity. It's hard to get to relinquish your identity or put it off to the side. I'm a conservative. I'm a rural person. I'm an American. So that means I'm different than those liberals. I'm different than those queer people, those whatever you call these letter people. And my identity is, don't you believe, Dr. Nemko, that identity, holding on to the identity too tight really hurts people from being the kind of person or they could have become or can become.
That's what disempowering, right? Because you're externalizing responsibility, externalizing control. I am a black. I am a white. I am a Jew. I am a Chicagoan. I'm an American. That's all crap. What counts is you are Marc Sims, a kind of an edgy guy who likes to talk and listen, but who seems like a pretty good guy. And make that Marc Sims. I saw the picture. You see a black. I don't give a fuck. And you see, I'm not censoring a thing that I'm saying to you what I would say if I was talking to an upper crust Beverly Hills white Jewish guy. I'm telling you my truth. But it has nothing to do with my ethnic background or my gender or my race or my sexual orientation or what my parents did. I am trying to be the best Marty Nemko I can be. And I sense that you're trying to be the best Marc Sims. Fuck your background. The background, that's what the fucking schools tell us to identity. Like you said, I'm gay and I'm proud. I'm a trans. I'm black. I'm a black trans. No, that's disempowering. You've got to make the most of who the individual person is. And I would tell that to my daughter, to my son, and I tell it to myself and to my clients.
No, I don't want to talk about yours truly so much. We can talk off the air about me, which is my favorite subject. But there's a young person. They could be 5, 15, teenagers, grown, could be in their 70s like Marty Nemko.
Right.
And it's just, you're trapped sort of. Let's say this has been in my identity. If I want to grow beyond this, I have to stiff arm a lot of my families and friends, and I may be alone trying to find a new group of people that loves me. And that's too fearful. People are like, I'd rather be trapped and be miserable or trapped and be inept or whatever versus going beyond that and really being on my ass. With no friends, no family. I think the fear of jettisoning some of that. How do people do it? Because people are suffering right now because they can't let this identity go. Because people are like, hey, you're going to be this forever. And for you're going to be, we're going to kick you out of the club. We're going to kick you out of our little group if you shun us.
Okay. Well, the choices aren't to either lose them or be like them. If I'm going to take the stereotype. Let's say I was from the hood and my family was all of that with it. Parties until 4 a.m, getting shit-faced or stoned all the time, lazy, that stereotype. I would talk to my family from a loving but firm way, and I'd say, I don't think that any of this does any of us any good, and you can do what you want. I'm not trying to change you, but I'm going to try to be I still love you. I still want to be a part of you if I can, but I don't want you to shun. You can shun me if you need to. But I want to be a responsible person. It's not acting white. I want to be successful and ethical and restrained and not wild. And I think that's a better path for me and my children. And if you want to reject me because of that, then you shouldn't be part of my life. And if you want to accept me and maybe even see me as a role model for that, I will love you. That it's not just leave them. I would try to keep them, but I would speak my truth.
Nemko, for just a few more seconds. There's a young person. I used to be a teenager. We all are. And teenagers it's tough. Teenager, young adult, whatever. And they want to commit suicide because it's going to take too many years for me to leave this home. I don't want to run away from home at 15. Or you say, I got to wait a few more years until I can just leave at 18 or 17. Or if somebody say, I don't want to leave this marriage. I don't want to leave this partnership I have. I don't want to leave my children. I just rather be stuck and unhappy than be successful or be the kind of person I can be. I should be.
Right.
Talk to those people right now, doctor.
It's a great question, Mark. We're doing a great job here. I like this. So if I was 15 and I hated my parents, I have a little advice for the 15-year-old and for the parent or the grandma or whoever's taking care of them. I would, and it's not a magic answer, but it's the best I got here. This is not where I'm sure. But if I'm 15 and let's say you're my daddy and I hate your guts because you're either being too strict or you're beating the shit out of me or you're getting high all the time or you're lazy or whatever, I say, Daddy, you think you know I'm unhappy. I'm tempted to just leave and live on the streets if I need to. But I'd rather not. How the hell can we work something out so that you're proud of me and I'm proud of you so that I don't be one of these jerks on the street? And I would just it wouldn't happen in one conversation, but I would have dinner with my kid, with my dad, my mom, whoever's there with me, and say, how the fuck are we going to work this out? And keep talking and talk about it. Drugs are not going to help. I know that for sure. And I know laziness doesn't help. And I know being force-fed education is too hard. It ain't going to help. I know that responsibility and chores and working part-time helps. I know having good friends helps. I would, whether I was the parent of the 15-year-old, I wouldn't try to be the boss necessarily. I would start by trying to say, Daddy, I love you, but things ain't working out here, and I am tempted to leave. How can we make this work? And we would have those conversations every night over food. Food lubricates conversation. Food is love. I'm a big believer in meeting over dinners. I bake for my clients. Every client, almost every client. I've had some I've either baked or I've baked yesterday and froze it. I would do those things to build in love. That's what I would do.
Dr. Nemko, thank you for being my guest.
It's my pleasure.